'Cause I've been everywhere, man. I've been everywhere, man. Across the deserts bare, man. I've breathed the mountain air, man. I've traveled, I've had my share, man. I've been everywhere. Been to Tullamore, Seymour, Lismore, Mooloolaba, Nambour, Roochdore, Kilmore, Mooloolaba, Birdsville, Emmaville, Wallaville, Connemara, Connemara, Strathround, Proserpine, Ulladulla, Darwin, Gingin, Nilliquin, Muckdilla, Wallumbilla, Bougainville, Cumberland, Ramakilla. I've been
Junee.
everywhere, man.
I forgot to do that bit. It is 11 minutes to 11, as we said, and we are going, Rob, to Junee, which I know is in New South Wales, and I've actually been there, but I bet you haven't.
I haven't.
We find the other Neil. We have decided a genius of Neils is when you got more than one of them together. Good morning, Neil.
I'll go with that, Rob. Thank you very much.
No, that was Neil that time. Rob's the other one.
Yeah, I wouldn't be calling a genius of Neil's. Now, Neil, I know you're an absolute stickler for time. You need to allow 1.5 minutes in this segment because this man is going to present us with something very important to tell us about Junee. But first of all, where the bloody hell is Junee, Neil?
Well, it's exactly halfway between Sydney and Melbourne on the Sydney to Melbourne line, so that would hopefully set it in people's minds. But we're also about 40 k's north, or half an hour drive north of Wagga Wagga, which is, I guess, New South Wales' largest inland city.
One Wagga's never enough.
Never call Wagga Wagga Wagga, because calling Wagga 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 is wrong, by the great Greg Champion and whatever the other bloke's name, Fred Haynes.
Yeah.
Yeah, so us locals just refer to it as Wagga, I'm afraid. We're great. Us Aussies are pretty good at shortening things.
Now, were you born and raised in this little village, or did it get you one day when you visited?
No, it hooked me. I was raised nearby on a wheat sheep farm at Harden, Murrumbara, but I came here to work for the council actually as a health and building inspector back in 1992. Came here to work for 3 to 5 years, chasing a career in local government. We loved the place so much, me and my family, that we said, bugger this, we'll stay.
So you're a bit like that man in Remington all those years ago. He loved the company so much he bought it. You ended up running the council.
Well, I started working for the council, as I said, but then I wanted to look from the other side of the fence. I had left council's employ so I could run for council. So I ended up being a councillor on Junee Shire for 16 years and mayor for 9, and only retired last September.
Does that mean we have to call you your worship or something?
No, let's just go with Neil.
Okay, fair enough. No, because it's a bit confusing. When he asked me, where's Junee, Neil, I almost answered. He's going to have to point at me if he's talking to me.
Yeah. It is a bit confusing. Hey, you obviously love the village, and I'm tipping if you were elected to council and mayor for 9 years, the village must love you. Has it been an easy relationship?
Oh, look, I've loved every moment of it. Certainly there's challenges, but I think, I personally have grown through that process, and we have a very productive bunch of councillors. It's been a real pleasure. We've had some great wins over the years, and I think done Junee proud, or Junee Shire proud in the process. So, yeah, in fact, we're having a little soiree to sort of fit all the old councillors, so that'll be a bit of fun.
Soiree, that's a nice word for a you-know-what up.
That usually happens at private schools.
It does, doesn't it? So what do people around Junee do?
Well, just in terms of some of the larger employers, aside from the rural industry, which Junee services as well, of course, farming, grazing and cropping, we've got a correctional centre. That's the PC term for a jail, and it has over 1,000 inmates and employs well over 250 employees. I'm not 100% sure on those stats, but it's certainly significant.
Do the 1,000 prisoners get counted in the population?
That's a good question.
It is a good question. I'm gonna find out the answer to that. I think it's a fascinating question.
Yeah, I think they do, but you've got to treat that fairly carefully. You've got to keep that in mind when you look at getting money from government for grants and those sorts.
Indeed, yes, absolutely.
But we've also got an abattoir that employs over 300, and then some. Our licorice and chocolate factory is quite famous. It's 60.
Oh. Mm. Yeah, Rob's left now. He's in his car. He's driving towards Junee. Neil, we were promised something that's going to take a minute and a half. I'm on dangerous territory here, opening the microphones for you for a minute and a half, but off you go.
All right, this is a poem I wrote called...
Oh, phew.
Sorry?
Oh, that's a relief. I thought it was going to be something, going to swear at us or something.
No, mate, no, it's fairly mild.
Excellent.
written with passion. I wrote it many years ago. So it's called Country Town. Give me a moment and I'll tell you of a paradise here on earth. It's a place that I've been and some of you may have seen. It's a heavenly dream of great worth. Now this place that I speak of is friendly. It's a place of smiles and grins wide, where the people you greet as you stroll down the street speak with community pride. It's a place where you're watched out and cared for, where good turns occur every day, where positive praise and helping hand ways make this just the best place to stay. Here kids can ride their bikes freely. Their friends are all close at hand. Freedom and space abound in this place, while the skate park and pool are just grand. Now for me, this place that I speak of, the place that I'll always be, is a small country town in Australia on the Olympic Highway, Junee. Now the last point I'll make before finishing is the name of the place matters not. Any country town where the folk wear no frown in Australia is a bloody good spot. It's our attitude that makes the difference, a perspective and outlook that's bright. So like me, love your town and your country, and wherever you live will be just right.
Beautifully done, young
spectacular.
fellow.
And possibly the most talent we've ever had in this segment.
I would have thought.
Yeah. And you know what? I had a school teacher years ago who used to tell me that, you can have poetry without rhymes. Poetry without rhymes is not poetry for mine, right? It's like the Olympic Games with skateboarding.
It's not real.
It's not fair dinkum. No, well played, sir. I'm impressed.
No, that was very, very good. And what we need to do is get some of those instrumental pieces that we've played on this morning's show and whack them together and see if we can produce a classic.
Well, I was talking to Beck, our health expert, during the week. Her partner's name is Clancy, and I sent to her a recording of a song called Clancy the Overflow, where they did, in fact, take Clancy the Overflow to music. So it can be done.
It can be done.
It can be done.
And it is magnificent. Tommy, you should think about playing that on your show.
Come on, Tom.
And I've got to think of the name of the people that did it.
Wallace and Matilda.
That'll do.
Yeah.
Absolutely outstanding.
Now, Neil, we do need to get moving because Tom, who's our next person, you should have a listen to Tommy.
Who's that person in the studio with Tom?
I don't know. There used to be a person called Charlotte, but she had different colour hair to that. We are so pleased that you have joined us today. I'm looking forward to an extended chat with you on the Regional 250 at some stage when our phones decide to work properly. But in the meantime, if people come to Junee and they say they know Neil Smith, is that going to make people run away or warmly embrace them?
Well, I don't know. I think I am well known and, mainly in a positive vein, I think.
Oh, that's a good thing.
If you can keep punching out work like that, Neil Smith, you are an asset to the village, I say.
Yeah, well, thank you. Thank you.
I love that stuff.
And here's a piece of trivia I learned about Junee, Rob, before we let Neil go, and that is that if you go there and say, I'll meet you in the main street, they'll look a bit puzzled because they've got two. Is that true?
Yes, yeah. The Sydney to Melbourne line bisects the town in the north-south direction, and so, yeah, we have two main streets, Lawn Street, Lorne, and the Broadway, which is...
oh, that's flash.
They say the lights are pretty bright on Broadway. They say there's always magic in the air.
That's right. Just, well, George Benson sang.
I think the Drifters had it first, but that's neither here nor there. Thank you, Neil.
What
a great pleasure.
Way to finish.
A great chat, and look forward to our longer chat on the Regional 250 very, very soon.
All right. Thanks, Jen.
See you,
Cheers,
mate. All the best.
There he is, Neil Smith, former mayor of Junee. And
jolly fine chap.
A good fella.